Right, so it is 2022, and a lot of you guys will know what that means. It is the year of the Ark animated series, and we're meant to be getting Ark 2. I have been so excited for this year for way too long now. When this was first announced, when Ark 2 in the animated series was first announced at the Game Awards 2020, it feels like we have been waiting so long and we're finally here. When I say we're finally here, it's probably not going to be released until like later on in the year, so we've still got a long time to go. But I'll be talking about my opinions on when I think it'll be coming out very, very soon. We've got some information we're going to be reading through today, so I hope you guys are excited for the release of Ark 2 when it does come out. I think it is going to be crazy. Some of the stuff I've heard about it, just hearing Wildcard talk about it on Twitter, I'll explain some of the things that they've talked about, and it is just going to be, I just hope it doesn't fail. I don't know about you guys. Ark 1 works so well the way it is, so I hope they don't change it too much in that sense of things, because what works now for Ark 1 works perfectly, and it has done for 6 years. So, and I don't think they are aiming to change it too much. They're just looking to change like the storyline up, obviously gameplay, problems, new dinos, everything. But anyway, so if you guys are excited for Ark 2, I can't even believe I'm saying that, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's go for over 1,000 likes on today's video, and let's just start reading through all of this. I'll be leaving the link in the description down below to this post if you obviously if you want to check it out at any point in time, and let's read through this. So Ark 2 is on the way, and we're currently still expecting the prehistoric multiplayer to arrive some stage in 2022. We first learned that we're set to see more dinosaur-shaped action in the popular Ark Survival Evolved series, thanks to an initial reveal at the Game Awards in 2020. Since then, though, news has been very quiet on all things Ark 2, and we haven't really seen or heard that much about it. What we do know, though, is that we expect to see more dinosaurs, more hunting, gathering, more mounts, and Vin Diesel. Yep, Vin is not the only said to be big fan of Studio Wildcard Survival Adventure. The actor is also on board as executive producer. While there is every chance we could see more of the game as the new year comes around, which is obviously the new year now, the project might still be some time off yet. Below, we've put together everything we know about Ark 2 so far, so you can stay on top of the news and head in our way and everything for the new game in 2022. So, let's get in with this, because there's lots you want to know. So what is Ark 2? The first thing. Next-gen graphics, next-gen online multiplayer sandbox, next-gen logo, and next-gen hype. So, Ark 2 is Studio Wildcard's sequel to Ark Survival Evolved, the multiplayer sandbox with dinos. According to a tweet by the developer, the overall gameplay idea of Ark isn't set to change in the sequel, which is one of the big things I mentioned earlier, and what I know a lot of you guys would be happy about. It will still be a multiplayer game, and you still will be able to fight and tame creatures in order to ensure your survival as best as possible. And I think that's the biggest thing of all. Like when Ark 2 gets released, I just feel like, we just want, as I mentioned earlier, we want the same game, like the same idea, but we just want better graphics, bigger maps, next gen gaming, Unreal Engine 5 as well. It's gonna just be, I can't even, like, I get too excited. I think about it, I started this channel 6 years ago, and in February, I should be remembering, Dom, you should be remembering this, I think it's February 9th, 2016 is when I started my first Ark video. I'll have to go back and check, but yeah, and I always remember that day just because this game's meant so much to me. So the point of Ark 2 doesn't seem to be a complete upheaval of that concept, but for Studio Wildcard to make use of the new hardware to make a new world bigger and more beautiful than the first. The trailer does certainly look impressive. It's a rendered in-game engine that uses actual game assets, and if it wasn't for the slightly rough facial animations and occasional stiff posture, you could mistake it for a CGI trailer. What's curious is that the first Ark, which has been around since 2015, if you count its early access period, it's still teeming with life, adding new creatures to this day. However, while the game's performance has improved over the years, Studio Wildcard is now wrangling a very large world, something that's noticeable in the persistent lag and Ark's overall file size. Starting afresh to benefit from the latest technology may simply be the way to improve Ark in a way that really doesn't make sense for the current game in the state it is. Now that is absolutely 100% spot on. Like, I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying, you know, we've done so much in Ark 1, like, we can't leave it behind. But you've got to think, when you download that game, it is probably one, if not the biggest game in the world. Like, you have to download so much, and you think the amount of content that's been added, you know, update after update after update. You can go onto my channel and see how many videos it's called Ark Update, because there's so much like that gets added in. Whether it's just whether it's just a small patch update, like, or a small bug fix update, still it ends up being quite a few gigabytes with Ark to a massive new map. You know, there's so much. This game has become massive, and to start fresh with Ark 2. As they mentioned, with all the new hardware and everything, could be brilliant for like the sort of, you know, servers and stuff. Like, a lot of people that have been complaining that they don't want Ark 2 are also the same people that complain about the servers. So imagine you could have an Ark 2 where you don't have those problems, an Ark without problems. That'd just be perfect. So what is the Ark 2 current release date? So while we don't have a specific date, we've been given a rough 2022 Ark release date window. Microsoft is yet to clarify whether that's a full launch or an early access launch, since Ark 2 could follow the same release model as Ark Survival Evolved. The first game launched back into what was back then Xbox Preview Program. Oh, I do remember that, in 2015, ahead of the full launch in 2017. What will Ark 2 platform be released? Well, what will the platform for Ark 2 be released on? Why did I really struggle with that? Ark 2 is an Xbox Series X console launch exclusive. If things go well they did with the first one, then this, we already know it is an Xbox Series. So obviously, whoever wrote this, that you may need to like correct that, but it's an Xbox Series X exclusive, but it's also coming with PC. If things go the way they did with Survival, this will also include PC. Yeah, but that's already confirmed. Possibly Xbox Game Pass at launch, before a PS5 version will eventually follow. Microsoft also points out that Ark 2 will be optimized for the Xbox Series X. So one thing that's going to be awesome about the release is there's going to be for the Xbox Series X and PC, but it is frustrating that PS5 players or PlayStation players will have to wait for this game, because the community of Ark PlayStation is huge. Like, I can't explain to you the changes when it was only on Xbox and PC, and the PlayStation community finally joined us. And oh wow, like there was millions of players that came to join the Ark world, and they've never gone back. So it's a bit frustrating, but again, it was an Xbox exclusive. You know, when it first came out, anyway, the first Ark. So expect to see a PlayStation version later on. But to be honest, I know there's going to be a lot of PlayStation players that are going to get themselves an Xbox or get themselves a PC to play this game. But it is because, you know, it could just be something we've never seen before. Well, it's obviously going to be something we've never seen before. But what I mean by that is in the whole gaming world in general. Like, they could break records with this if they get it correct. It's not certain Ark 2 will have a traditional storyline to follow. As a multiplayer experience, Ark Survival Evolved did eventually add lore for you to discover, which explain the island's sci-fi background, but you're welcome to ignore all of that just as easily to make your own fun. I think, yeah, I know for sure that they're going to have, little bits of information that I've covered over the last few months, and I suppose the last year. We kind of know that there is a new storyline that Wildcard have mentioned is going to be coming. So we don't expect Ark 2 to go full Final Fantasy 14, but with the pivotal role Vin Diesel played in the trailer, it's not far-fetched to assume he's going to be around for more than just a marketing stunt. According to Microsoft, his character is named Santiago, and you guys will know that if you've been a big Ark fan already. And while the tribe he leads appears to be mostly eaten by the time the trailer wraps up, he clearly has a family to take care of, because Vin Diesel's always got a family. maybe you will be able to compete quests or yeah. So that's the one thing I think that would be nice. Like we've talked about for Ark 1 many a times, you know, can we have NPCs in the game? Can we have there's so much space for quests, like and not to the point where it will get in the way of what the game's like. You know, you still do absolutely everything that you want, but having an option to do different quests, I think could be really cool. I don't think too many and to make it too storyline based, I think could be bad for the way the game's played, because I wouldn't want those quests to give too much of something that gives other people a big boost compared to the people that don't do the quests. But I don't know, this is not my job. This is my job is to talk about the news. My job is not to do Wildcard's job. Like you could see how frustrating it must be to come up with the ideas for the game, but still I do have some good ones that I would like to share maybe one day. So what is Vin Diesel doing in Ark 2 anyway? It's always exciting to see a big name actor involved in a video game, whether it's Norman Reedus in Death Stranding or Dave Bautista in Gears 5. Perhaps Studio Wildcard working with Vin Diesel is simply a happy accident, and yeah, it is. And I'm hoping they'll explain what I know exactly what it is, but I'll tell you if they don't put it in this. So the actor is known to be a big nerd who's enjoyed video games and a good game of D&D for years. According to Microsoft, he is simply a fan of Ark. And with playtime of around about 1,000 hours, a median time for the community. Okay, yeah, so that pretty much does obviously explain a bit of it. I think there's something down here that I'll read. But basically, the full story was that Vin Diesel, there was a problem with the Ferox. For a huge problem. I know there's still his problems with it, still to this day. But Vin Diesel actually reported that problem, that bug to Wildcard. And I don't know what dev was the dev that actually, I don't know whether it was, I can't remember who was dealing with them, but apparently one of the devs was like, this is Vin Diesel. What the imagine how crazy that is. And I always think about the same sort of thing whenever I do a video. I think if Vin Diesel's a massive Ark fan, has he ever watched one of my let's plays or how-to videos or news videos? I mean, I just think of that. Has there been any famous people? I always think that to myself. It would be crazy. So that's how it happened. So Vin Diesel will do more than just act in Ark 2. He's listed as Studio Wildcard's president of Creative Convergence. This is a mouthful. This mouthful of a title is likely an amalgamation. I can't say that. I'm just going to give up. Of the two roles Diesel fulfills for the studio. On one hand, he's the executive producer for Ark 2, but he also executive produces the upcoming animated series. He understands the game and he's providing direct feedback to the development process, Studio Wildcard says. Apparently that also involves logging bugs into Ark. It's not clear how heavily involved he is with the game, but it's fair to say Vin Diesel is a game developer now. Yeah, so that was the bug obviously I mentioned with the Ferox that obviously Vin Diesel told, and that's how they obviously found out. So the final bit is just to talk about, the animated series, which is obviously kind of a side bit that I was talking about to do with Ark 2. So the Ark animated series was announced together with Ark 2 and will release in 2022. Studio Wildcard co-created and produced the series together with the director Jay Olivia. And the animation studio behind the series is Lex and Otis, who are working on Army of the Dead spin-off with Zack Snyder. Art composer Gareth will also write the music for the show. So one thing I do want to say before this video comes to an end, guys, is that Ark 2 always does have a slight chance that it won't come out this year. I'm going to be telling you why I think it's going to be coming, and I've seen a lot of other creators saying they think 2023, and I'm going to mention why I think 2022 is still going to be Ark 2. I started getting really frustrated thinking, we're going to have to wait till 2023, but when I really thought about it, you guys can obviously, take what you want from what I say here, but we were hoping Ark 2 was going to be coming out in the summer of 2022. Then obviously it was announced that Fedor, the new Viking map, is going to be coming out in June 2022 for Ark 1. And then we were thinking, what's next? Because the story of Ark 1's completely finished now, and paid DLCs, there's always a free map and a paid DLC in a year of Ark Survival Evolved. Sometimes 2 free maps, and sometimes, but there's always one. And obviously we had Genesis Part 2 in May, and then we had Lost Island in December. when the Viking map comes out in June 2022, there's going to be some other form of paid content that where Wildcard need to make their money in the year. So I think there's a huge chance that around November or December time is where we will see the release of Ark 2. If not, there should be some form of release date, but Wildcard need to make their money somewhere this year, and you know, they're not going to make that off free content. So I'm definitely seeing it coming out sometime at the end of 2022. That this could be an announcement at the Extra Life charity event they do in November, or at the Game Awards is where they could do an announcement. Wildcard have done things in the past where they've announced something and it's come out straight away, so that's always something that you could be expected. I do think we'll see more this year, more like, you know, content on the game, like maybe some gameplay, maybe another trailer. I don't know, maybe not a trailer. I reckon that would probably be later when the game's released, but either way, it is one exciting year. Let's go and enjoy the rest of Ark 1, the final year of Ark Survival Evolved 1. All together. We've been doing it for the last 6 years anyway. You guys have also been supporting me for that long as well, and thank you just so much. Let's go Ark 2. I can't wait, and I'll be bringing you guys any news as we do go through the year. Smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.